Anyway, moving over to that, Chancey Pogue. Again, man, you can start and stop wherever you finish. Just about yourself. Might be weird for you. I know you're not that type of a dude, but
I'm the son of a butcher from a little town north of Abilene. My dad ran a custom butcher shop for 40 years, and my first job was salting beef hides in a hide cellar in July and August for $2.50 an hour. So, and I wouldn't trade that. I absolutely wouldn't, because growing up, I had a support system that was great. You know, parents are still out there, and that's home. You know, it's small town Texas, and the people there, man, they're great. You know, and I love it, and I miss that part of it. I get to play big city cop, you know, so it's like a dream come true in that regard. But grew up with that, with all the sports, hunting, fishing, with a great support system there, and did the whole college ball thing. Went to play baseball. That was my love. Played every down of football that I could. But baseball was my love. Did that for a year. Ended up down in Huntsville, Texas. Left Charleston, you know, was playing ball. Wasn't for me. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't ready for it mentally with all of that. You know, work your butt off at it, and then what's the reward side of that? A 6-day-a-week job, and I'm trying to make it on $60 a week. Well, it's pretty tough, you know. So it's time to go to work. You know, the reality of that, and went down there to Huntsville. And I went to work in the prison system down there, going to Sam Houston. And it was pretty eye-opening at 19. So did that for 4 years. I mean, we could go on for hours.
We'll talk about it. Just give us kind of like a little overview of what that experience was like for you.
It was, you know, you walk into a place like that, and the unit I worked at was a Line 3, Level 3 unit. It was a Supermax prison, first, you know, one technically built in Texas then. And we're talking in 98. And walked in that place, and it was extremely eye-opening to see just the conditions and how people are living in that place, you know, the inmates, and why they're there. And it's a crash course in the underbelly of society. I mean, it really is. You're just thrown into it. I had people that raised me on the farm. That's kind of some prison term stuff there, but that helped me immensely. Just on how to deal how to deal with people and how to take care of the people that are with you, that are on your team, because you're all you got. And whenever you're in there and you get yourself in some pickles in that place. It gets pretty wild, you know. It gets pretty wild, you know. There's stuff that you can't unsee what you see in that place, and it's nuts. But anyhow, I digress from that. It was a hell of an experience. I think it was very, very beneficial coming to work in the police department.
How so? What skills?
The people skill side of it, because you have to deal with guys that are extremely agitated, that are, I mean, you talk about mad at the world. There is nothing they won't do.
Just because?
Just because, yeah. I mean, I had a guy tried to run a 21-inch homemade shank in me. By the grace of God, get out of the way. You know, buddy saw it. I heard it happening when he opened up a bean chute. He had rigged it behind me, and he pulled it open, and I turned and looked. We were going to move an inmate. It was I had my back to that side of it, and needless to say, talking about, not to go down the tangent of leadership, but this leads to a big thing with me that impacted me big time when I was young. He knocked the bean chute open. Guy that I was working with said, you know, like, watch out kind of deal, and I turned and looked, and he was swinging that shank at me through the chute, and I got out of the way, thank God. And I mean, buddy comes over there trying to hammer the bean chute closed. We do. And so I had to notify supervisor. You know, well, I had plenty to say to the guy. I was asking the picket boss to roll the door, because I was enraged. I mean, this guy, he tried to stab me, you know, and ain't the right move. You know, right. Looking back, it's not. And anyway, the guy, the officer in the picket booth was like, I go out and I tell the supervisor. He was last I knew, he was a lieutenant out there, and he walks down the level 1 hallway. I'd walked out in the hallway, and with him walks the captain. And I told him what happened. We go back down there to that cell, and they asked the guy, you know, do you have a shank? And he said, yeah, we have a shank. And he says, well, put it on the bean chute. Go lay on your bunk, and he does. And he opens up the bean chute, this captain does, takes the tool that I'm carrying to do it, and hands me that shank and says, ride him up. And I can't tell you how much of a failure that is from that son of a bitch. I mean, that's just how I really feel, you know? And they just left the inmate be.
That's it.
Yeah. And I remember that. I had to go back to court.
Moral injury number one.
Man, yeah, I was like, okay, that's what I'm not going to do.
Right.
And anyway, that being said, not the war story about that, but wrote the guy up, and I ended up, when I was in the police academy, I had to go back for his trial to Walker County. And I went back, and they gave him, possession of a weapon inside a penal institution, and plus, ag assault, deadly weapon, essentially, on me, on a correctional officer. And they gave him 40 years. Not, they can run it concurrent, but they didn't. They stacked it on his sentence. So he'd never see the light of day for what he was in there for. And he told everybody, he said, they asked him if he had anything to say in court. It's the first time I was ever in a court setting like that. And he told them, he said, his exact words, he said, y'all a bunch of hoes if you don't give me life.
Wow. Just like that.
And I'm like, that solidifies things to you, about some people. That's that guy's choice. He's the one that chose that path. And came back, went to police academy, fast forward, started my career with the PD and did patrol. We had like directive response or zero tolerance or crime response team. There's different acronyms for it, but worked a couple of those. Was in SWAT for several years as an officer. Use of force coordinator stuff, doing that, dealing with all the use of force for a big city, and then was part of a criminal tracking unit. Got to help stand that stuff up, and then ended up from there. I promoted and came back to SWAT as a supervisor.
Okay, and
spent some time in our area unit, and then currently I'm promoted to lieutenant, and I'm over all of the weapons range and all the reality-based training with our department. So
I understand that promotion is sort of recent. So
it is.
Congratulations,
Thank
I think.
Yeah, it's good. I'm blessed beyond measure, man.
You earned it.
Not confused about it. It's I've got a great gig, but I got one where we got to go forward, man. We got to help our people.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about just the helping people and what you guys are trying to do. And I think first, just kind of identifying some of the inherent issues, probably that are systemic. And when I say that, just across the board, there's probably some cultural stuff there. There's obviously some training things there. There's some funding things there. There's all that stuff. But if you could break it down in Chancey's way of doing that, how would you do it?
How to break down those walls. I mean, what we did in this, and this goes down the rabbit holes with it. But I think one of the biggest issues that is across law enforcement from all the training that we've done and gone to multiple classes ourselves and training with lots of different people and getting a lot of time under tension, if you will. Mm-hmm. I mean that in the way of we have a lot of people coming through that we teach, captive audience from our police department, if you will,
Yep.
Is the environment that you set. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing. I think you have to set the stage there, for learning in a non-judgmental factor. We got to be safe. But we've got to get these people in there and get them to where they understand that failure is part of this, and that's how you're going to learn it when it comes down to shooting a gun. You're going to learn from that part of it.
So, I mean, you talk about failure. So for people who might not be picking up what you're putting down, just be specific for where that happens. Where is it acceptable to fail, and what are we talking about specifically?
In the training environment. Okay. And when you're in there on the, quote, square range, where you're learning all of these things, okay, how do I manipulate this gun? How do I put the bullets where I need the bullets to go? Because historically, law enforcement, they beat the drum of you're responsible for every round. Mm-hmm. And what I would argue is, are you really? Technically, yes, you absolutely should be. But what about the law enforcement shootings? And we're no different across the nation where they go 0 for 25.
Right.